Hey guys, so what are we doing today? Well, we have Lindisfarne mead. This is the light one. I can't remember the proper name. I'm going to my glasses. Is it 637 or something? Can't remember. Is it something like Lindisfarne 732 or something like that? So this is Lindisfarne light mead. They do a dark mead as well. But this is one of my favourites. It's what I would call the standard by which most other meads should be gauged. This was the first mead I ever tasted many years ago. Now we're trying this first from the fridge. There's my little level gadget. Oops. Make sure I don't pour too much. Now where's the lid going? There's this. Now it's about 14% alcohol by volume, and it's actually made in the northeast of England. But I believe that recently, after about 4 or 5 years of negotiation, the Lindisfarne Mead Company have just recently gained a license to sell in the US. So, I don't know how widespread it is in the US yet, but you should be able to get it in the US fairly soon. Now in the UK, that particular one is between 15 and 20 quid a bottle. So that'll be between $20 and $25 a bottle, depending on where you find it. Possibly a little bit more because of import duties, things like that. But it's a really good, middle of the road, standard mead. Now this is mead, oh by the way, this is a little Japanese chew-on that my daughter bought me while she was on holiday. So I thought I'd actually start using this and do a little bit drinking from it. Now this is straight from the fridge, nice and cold, and straight away, it hasn't got that sharpness that the Cognac has. In fact, on the side of the tongue, it's quite mellow. But where the strength of this one comes in is the aftertaste. You don't get the honey straight away. It's there, but you don't get it straight away. You get it as an aftertaste after you swallow. Now the beauty of this one is you can quaff it. You can just glug it. It's just a nice, it doesn't have that really strong alcohol. Oh yeah, here it comes. Whoa, yeah. It doesn't have that really strong alcohol hit that some strong wines do. You know, like you take a mouthful and you're like, it doesn't have that. It builds up, and it is there, but it is actually really pleasant, really mellow. And even when it's cold out of the fridge like this is, yeah. And if you let it sit in your mouth, oh, really, there we go. I love that. After you'd swallowed it, and then if you take a breath in, you get a rush of air. It's like it gives you the shivers. It's wonderful stuff. Now this one is made with a fruit base, and depending on which one you get, it's either an apple or a grape base. Fruit juice, not a wine, a fruit juice base. which is used to cut the honey down to a thinner consistency to allow quicker fermentation. It also saves you, the consumer, a little bit of money because it makes it a little bit cheaper to produce. And a little bit quicker. Oh, I do like that. I do like that when you take a slurp and then you take a breath afterwards after you've swallowed and you get that shiver. It's wonderful stuff, and that's even from cold. Now the initial flavour has a warm, or it really does have a warmth to it. Even when it's cold, it sits on your tongue, gets on your tongue and spreads across your tongue and really warms your tongue up. But doesn't sting, it doesn't give you that stinging medicine type taste. It's just a nice, as if you've just had a sip from a warm cup of hot chocolate, you know, or cocoa or something like that. Oh, yeah, love it, I love it, I love it. Now this is one really, like I said, you can quaff it. You can just pour it around your friends, get a few friends around, get a couple of bottles of this in a glass each and just tip it out and just knock it back. Have a proper drinking session. But you can also, you can use this as one, if you want to learn about mead, this is a really, really good place to start. As if you take a sip, let it sit under your tongue. That will give you one set of flavours. Now with this, it is actually quite warming. It's actually got quite a spicy taste to it, with a sourness that I think is coming from the apple juice. And you can taste that. You know, like when you drink fresh apple juice straight from the carton that's unsweetened. That's what it tastes like, and that's what it feels like in your mouth. Then as it spreads over your tongue, you get a warmth, it doesn't taste like chocolate, but it's got a similar sort of feel to a hot chocolate or a cocoa. It just warms the surface of your tongue as it spreads over. And really, almost, if you hold it in your mouth, nothing happens until you swallow it. Nothing happens until you move it around within your mouth. As soon as you do that, and then you take a breath, you'll get that hit. You get that sensation on the back of your tongue. And the warming as it goes down your throat. But this is while it's cold. Yeah, you can taste the fruitiness. The honey doesn't come through so much, which is a shame. But the honey, I believe the honey it's made from is actually wild meadowflower honey, which tends to be a lot milder than, say, an orchard honey. And that's why Lindisfarne is a good meat to start from, because it is a mild meadow flavoured honey. Really is a nice one. Yeah, there's apple there. There's a little bit of grape there as well, so there might be using a mixture of fruit. Then you get the honey as it comes through. Again, not a strong honey, but it's quite a mild honey, but it's a nice, mellow flavour. Anyway, so. Oh, yeah. Oh, gives you the shivers out of your mouth. Even though you can feel it warm in your throat as it goes down. Well, this is what I meant about you can quaff it, you can just sling it back. It's a good drink for communal drinking. If you want to have a sit by the fire and read a good book and maybe smoke a cigar or your pipe or something like that, this isn't the mead to do that with. This is a mead for parties. This is a mead for getting a few friends round. Oops, pardon. and that who've maybe never experienced a nice mead before, get a few friends around, get a couple of bottles of this in, and get something nice to drink out of, like a shot glass or a horn, drinking horn, or even something like this. This is a handmade Japanese, but the shape of the lip, it sort of governs the amount of liquid you can get at once, and it's a good way to start drinking mead. Drink it with friends, experience it, talk about it. Right, so now that was cold straight from the fridge. So we're now, and I think the bottle's leaked a bit, it's been laid on its side, it's all sticky. Right, so, oops. Oh God, good job I put the lid on there. I would never have forgiven myself. Right, so now, we've got our warm mead. Like I said, it's only been in the microwave for 1.5 minutes, just to bring it up to almost body temperature. Where's my doodah gone? Ah, there it is. So we'll use the doodah. It's a really handy doodah. This, it stops me spilling stuff all over the place because I can't see a bloody thing. There we go. Oh, the smell of that is beautiful. Right, we'll leave it at that. We won't push it too much. We don't need a full. Where's the lid? There it is. We'll put the lid back. It's a really unique smell, is Lindisfarne as well. I think that comes from the various meadow flowers. As I said, it's a meadow flower honey rather than an orchard honey, which means you're going to get flavours like meadowwort and cowslip and things like that. You can't smell the fruit so much from the base, and you can't smell the honey so much, but it has got a definite organic, fresh, like a fresh cut grass smell. Right, let's have that. Oh, that's nice. The warming it doesn't alter the flavour as much from to the cold as it does with, say, the Moniac or even the Harvest Gold. The Harvest Gold has a drastic flavour change. This doesn't. And the alcohol hit isn't as strong. And it builds up, oh, I can feel it. It builds up a little bit, but it doesn't build up as quickly as when it's cold. It is actually quite warming. Right, so. And it's got a really, really smooth, rounded mouthfeel. When it's in your mouth, when it's warm, especially if you've got the temperature right, so it's the same temperature as the inside of your mouth. It doesn't feel like there's a lot there. You can feel there's liquid in your mouth, but there's no, how shall we say, texture to it. If you hold it in your mouth, it feels as though there's nothing there. But the flavours are slightly muted. Well, the fruit flavours are slightly muted, but the honey flavour has intensified a little bit. Not a massive amount. Not so much that it's going to overwhelm, but it has mellowed out a bit. Maybe it's the fruit flavour that's actually mellowed out, and the sourness of the honey flavour is mellowed, but the sourness of the fruit has gone a little bit. It's really quite nice. Yeah. Now the sharpness isn't on the side of your tongue, as it is with some. With this, it's down the centre of your tongue. As you let it go over your tongue and down into your gullet and you swallow it, you feel the warmth go down. But it starts from the centre of your tongue and goes backwards into your throat. And again, you've got that texture, that feel of a hot chocolate or a cocoa. But this time you've got the added warmth of the liquid itself. And it's actually making my mouth water. I know that sounds weird because I've just taken a drink, but it's actually making my mouth water, which is sort of like it makes it, and I can feel a little bit of heat building up in my head. It's a very odd sensation, but it's a nice sensation. If you imagine, it's almost like at the moment, the way I'm feeling at the moment. Now this might sound totally weird, but if you imagine you're sat out in the back garden and the sun's out over there, and the sun is actually hitting your face, you can feel it warming your face. Just the warmth of the sun. That's a bit what this feels like once you get a mouthful. Because there's a benefit of warming mead up. And this works with a lot of spirits and wines, by the way. When you warm it up, you actually start to absorb the alcohol a lot quicker. You don't have to wait for it to get down into your stomach. It actually, you start to absorb the alcohol the second it hits your tongue. So if you hold it in your mouth for a while, you actually get a warming sensation spreading through your mouth, into your throat, up into your nasal cavities, and you can smell it. If I hold it, I can smell it still. I can smell the aromas coming from the back of my gullet and the back of my mouth, and I can actually smell them coming up into my nose. It's a wonderful sensation. Now if you swirl it around a bit, you start to get the tannins coming through of the fruit juice. You start to taste the fruit juice again as it's cooling down. But the main sensation is the heat and the warmth of the mead itself. I'm trying to think of the best way to describe it. I'll let you figure that out for yourself. That's a nice one. So, Lindisfarne mead. This is the light. There's two versions. There's a light and there's a dark. To be honest with you, there's not a great difference between the two. But I think the dark is made with a higher percentage of honey to fruit juice. So there's more honey in it than there is fruit juice. So you do get a much stronger honey hit from the dark. The light itself, though, it really is a good mead to begin with. The Harvest Gold that we looked at before, that's the bottom of the range. That's about £5 or £6 a bottle. And if you just want to have mead for a party, it's not a bad place to start. But if you want to start learning about and start to appreciate a honey, the next best thing you can go to after something like the Harvest Gold is the Lindisfarne. It's not always the easiest to get hold of because it sells out. They do sell so much of it, which is why I think they use a fruit base, because there's a high demand for Lindisfarne mead. It's the one that most people know, especially here in the UK. And I think it's the one that a lot of people in the US will start to learn once it actually gets over there as well. So, if you can find it, it's definitely worth getting hold of a bottle and having a taste. Try it room temperature. Room temperature is nice, but it's nothing particularly. It's just mead. Once you chill it down though, you then start to separate out the flavours, and then when you warm it, you really start to experience the warmth, the chocolatiness, not the chocolatey taste, but the chocolatey texture. It's like drinking a warming, comforting cup of hot chocolate. Not a cup of cocoa maybe so much, but a cup of hot chocolate, which has been made with cream and things like that. Really smooth mouth flavour, mouth feel. It's well worth it. Yeah, definitely. And as it starts to cool down again, you get that hit, and then you get the warmth spreading across. I think they've actually put some spices and things in it. Maybe not spices, but there's some herbs in there. Things like meadowwort, St John's wort, possibly. There may even be some corn flour and some wheat flour. I don't mean flour as in the grindings, but the actual flowers, proper meadow flowers, buttercup, daisies, things like that. Things that would infest a meadow where bees would be quite happy just buzzing around. And that's the sort of feel you get. It's a warm summer's day. And to be honest, if it was a warm summer's day, a chilled or even a warmed glass of this just sat out in the back garden, I don't think you could beat it. Anyway, Sloan Shop, hope you found that interesting. Stay safe. Cheers, guys.